I'm going to turn a piece of Sequoia, and it's not very big. It's 6 inches this way, 6 inches that way, and it's 3.5 inches thick. But it has really beautiful heartwood in it. So there's a couple of ways you can utilize that heartwood. You could make a natural edge out of it and cut it down this way, but the bark is just falling off as I hold it. The other thing is make a wing bowl out of it so I can have that whole surface still showing. So that's my plan. I've got a mark here for a worm screw. Let me get it drilled and we'll get it on the lathe and see if we can make something really pretty out of this piece. Alright, I've got it on the worm screw. I've got a 5/8 bowl gouge and we're turning about 700 RPM. So I'm going to start roughing it out and see what shape we can get out of this. Pretty interesting. Get that bark off the bottom. Kind of liking the idea of a square bowl now. I think I need to cut more off the bottom to see if I can get a tenon or a recess. I'd like to use a recess so I don't lose any height, but I don't want to have a recess pressing against that bark. So I'm going to switch to a 3/8 gouge and clean this up. Alright, let's clean this up, and not sure how much farther I want to go, but I want to cut some more and start exposing more of that heartwood underneath as well. 800 RPM. I'll start this with my parting tool. I'll use a 1/2 inch bowl gouge to cut the rest of it out. And I'll use my homemade dovetail cutter. Alright, I also have located a pretty good sized crack. I'm going to fill this crack with the thick star bond, and then I'll see if I can push some shavings down in there. I don't think it's going to be a problem because I won't be cutting any more off near it, I don't think anyways. Okay, let that sit for a while and we'll come back and sand it up and we can get it flipped around. I am ready to sand, and I'll start in reverse at about 400 RPM with 80 grit, and then I'll get it sanded up to 400, and then we'll get it flipped around as soon as I get my mask on. Redwood and cedar is really nasty wood. Alright, that's going to be real easy, so I'll see you when we have it flipped around. Okay, I have it flipped around, and I'm going to clean this face off and then decide what sort of a shape to put, if I want to follow that underside or not. We're doing around 725 RPM. Okay, I think that's a little better view. So the underside is curved, and a lot of times you'll want to follow that, but I'm actually kind of liking keeping it a little flatter. Really shows that bark off quite well. So let's just start hollowing it out. I don't know if I want to leave a little bead up here or not. Okay, so we have about a half there, but this is pretty much where we need to be right here. So I think I should figure out where I'm at on the bottom, because I do have a recess there. I'm going to set it for what I want it to be. That should give me about a 1/4 inch bottom on it, and we have 5/8 to go. Alright, I like that shape. Looks like it would hold quite a few M&Ms. That's not too bad, I think. I think the walls are good. The fact of it is, this wood is extremely light, so I would like to have a little weight on it. I'm going to go ahead and do some shear scraping here, and then we'll get the negative scraper out and finish it up. I decided that I actually want to cut that top rim down towards the center more than I even did with the negative brick scraper. So I'm going to do that, then we'll sand. Okay, I'm ready to sand, and I have the spindle locked. I'm going to start with a 80 grit on a 2-inch disc, sand the corners, and then I'll unlock the spindle and sand it on the inside, and we'll do that all the way through 400. I would consider doing this while it spins, but that bark is very fragile. We're going to sand and going forward at around maybe 400 RPM. So that probably would work. I don't want to sand those away. So that's what I'm going to do, and when I come back, it'll be time to choose a finish and get it on here and on the back side. Alright, it's all sanded up and ready for finish, and I've decided on wipe-on poly just because it'll add a slight tint to the wood. And I didn't get all the heartwood I was hoping out of this, but if I would have, I wouldn't have had much of a little bowl here. But I think it'll still be pretty. Have it right there, that really looks nice. And up here. Also, the wipe-on poly will toughen it up a little bit. It's a rather soft wood. Okay, so that's going to be real easy, and I'll get the back side, and probably maybe 3 or 4 coats of this, and then I'll be right back. I now have 4 coats of the wipe-on poly, and I knew I had a crack here, and I waited till I got the finish on it, and then I put the black Starbond CA in there, and whatever was up on top of here just pretty much chipped off. So if you get your finish on it first, it's not going to soak into the wood. I decided I'll go ahead and use Acks abrasive paste on it. I'd like to see this one a little shinier than it is. I'm just getting a pretty liberal amount on there, and I'll start it out turning about maybe 400 or 500 RPM. Okay, I'm going to go to a drier spot and turn it up to 750 RPM. Get one more dry spot here, and I think we'll just about have it. I'm going to turn it up to 900 RPM. Okay, that's better. Just what I wanted. Okay, so basically it's done. And I'll get it off the lathe and show you what we ended up with. Well, here it is, a pretty little Sequoia bowl. And it doesn't weigh very much at all. And it was a perfect one for me to turn this week because I was still getting over a sore back. And that worked out great. It's 6 1/4 across this way, and it's 6 1/4 across that way. It's 2 3/8 high at the corners, and it's 2 inches right there. So I ended up dishing it out like that. Makes it look deeper than it really is. And here's the base. I would say that's probably about 3 1/4 inches. And I like the way the bark came down in here, and like I said earlier, the bark is really light, and it did stay on very well, so I'm happy with that. I finished it with 4 coats of wipe on poly, and then I went over it with Acks abrasive paste and polish. And it really makes it look great down on the bottom. I did mention I was hoping to keep the heartwood across there, but I actually like it better like this. You see the rings coming from one direction and meeting in the middle. Almost looks 3D. I really like it a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Click that like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. And for those of you who are, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It would also be great if you could share my videos around. Leave a comment. I read them all. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.